Gavin, firstly, welcome back. How excited are you to be in charge of the first team once again?
Yeah, very. Listen, it's a massive privilege to take over a club of this stature, so I'm really excited to get going again with the lads.
As mentioned, you've of course previously taken on this kind of role before, so how confident are you in taking on this role going forwards?
Yeah, very confident in my abilities to deliver a message to the players and what angle we're going to go at going forward. Listen, it's when you take over, it's always going to be tough. You're never going to be flowing, are you? So at the minute, it's about just literally closing everything down and let's restart it. Click that laptop back on again and let's kickstart it.
As mentioned, you've been in the role before, but what would you say you've developed and how you've improved since the last time you've taken over?
Yeah, I think it's been a massive learning curve this last maybe 6 or so months. It's been great working with the likes of Bailey, all you guys on a day-to-day basis, been around the club, see the infrastructure, how it's run, the academy, working with them guys. Just developing relationships. I mean, I've been to a lot of League 2 games, I've been to under-21s games, getting to know them people around that kind of scene and hopefully bringing that experience with me this season.
What would you say is the key thing to look to improve as we look for a positive second half of the season?
I think it's not. Don't overthink the situation. Listen, when we get 2-0 up, a lot of the times I think it's been panic stations, or we've tried to defend the lead, or you just got to sometimes you just got to put the foot in the throttle and just keep going, because a lot of the time at this level, it's who can keep going for the longest. That's what happens. It's a lot of the ball retention isn't as good as the elite level, and that's the way it's going to be. So it's who takes the chances better, who's better on transition, because that's massive in League 2 because there's a lot of ball turnover. So it's how quickly can we punish them. There's no point in making 100 passes side to side. It's got to penetrate straight away. And they're the teams that are successful at this level. You look at Stockport, Wrexham, they're looking in, they're trying to get forward in 2 passes and they're trying to get at you.
And with that, of course, you've obviously been a player as well, so how will that experience as a player help you into this role now?
Obviously, we're building relationships with players. Listen, I've been in them type of situations. But it's completely different. It doesn't matter if you've been an elite player, which I 100% was definitely not an elite player, but when you've been an elite player coming into a coaching capacity, it's always going to be a lot different. It's completely different. A good coach and a good player, it's not. It's a completely different beast.
If we look at where we are on the pitch currently, where do you assess where this first team squad is?
Listen, it's a good squad. It's a squad that went on the unbeaten run at the start. There's the players are there. It's just they're not reaching their ceiling. Maybe they were at their ceiling. Maybe that's where they're at. But I don't think so. I think that there's on performances of late. I think there's like 20-30% on top of that at least. Some of the players, their forms obviously come down. Unfortunately, that happens in players. They sometimes get ahead of themselves when they have that burst early on, which can be a hindrance when you outperform yourself basically, because no one expected that. And then sometimes you get sloppy, and that's where your habits are what make you. If you have good habits and you continue them good habits, you're not going to fall off the bus. But sometimes when you get sloppy and slack, that's what happens.
How exciting is that for you? Obviously, as you mentioned there, this squad does have potential to go on and improve and kick on in the second half of the season.
Yeah, brilliant. Listen, these are some fantastic players for the level. Fantastic guys. Listen, a lot of these guys would have, I'd imagine, been looking at January transfer window and thinking, surely I'm going to be getting a move to a higher level. But unfortunately, the start of the season was here and then it leveled and then it started to go like that. So it's all about us leveling it off and then taking off again, because it's there, the quality's there, everyone can see it. It's just that the guys, whatever it was, whether it's a mentality or that there's something there, but it's up to me to get to the bottom of it.
Obviously, given the results we did have, do you think it's a confidence thing now? Do you think you can lift the spirits as we look to kick on now?
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't have took it otherwise. It would have been like I'm just wasting everyone's time. If I'm going to take it and I'm not going to lift the results, then you might as well have just left it how it is.
As you mentioned, we're in the January transfer window now. How important will that be as we look to deliver a successful second half of the season?
Yeah, listen, I know I've spoke to Clem. I think there'll be a couple of bodies, there'll be more bodies coming in because he's backed the club massively. So I think it's gonna be good. We're gonna bring quality players in. We've got young players, experienced players, mixed blend. I think hopefully, and then where we go after the weekend. Obviously, the weekend's gonna be massive. Get the fans on board and take it from there. But this is gonna be a big game for us at the weekend, and hopefully a positive one.
We'll get onto the game of the weekend, but of course touched on relationships there. How important is that in terms of having a good relationship with both Jamie Russell, Clem, and also staff around the ground as well?
Yeah, brilliant. Listen, that's probably, I'd imagine, like a lot of the staff are pleased, happy. Like, obviously, it's terrible that Michael and Wayne have lost their job. That's football. It's a results business, unfortunately. But I think hopefully that I can hopefully be the one that brings it all together, having worked with the academy and the first team, and now trying to bring all that together with everybody on the way.
How will you look to achieve that?
Just simplifying everything. I think sometimes people get ahead of themselves. They want to do too many things too quickly. It's simplifying it. Little steps make big steps in the end, and hopefully that's where we're going to get to. I mean, the academy's been fantastic this year. We've got some real assets in the academy who have done fantastically well all the way through to under 18s. And listen, they got Man United in the Youth Cup, which is fantastic for a club of Swindon's size. Listen, it's a massive club in League Two, and it should be a higher level. But to play against Man United, it's fantastic for the club. So hopefully that goes well.
You touched on simplifying things there. Describe how the coaching structure will work going forwards as well.
Yeah, listen, I think I'll do a lot of the coaching because I like it. That's what I do. That's what people say I'm not bad at. Liam will help. He'll be the analyst as well. Mildy as well. He'll be around it. We'll lean on Charlie a little bit to obviously blend with the group and mix it because he's obviously been there, an elite player. Still a very good League Two player for sure. So I hope people don't forget that. Yeah, it's just, listen, it's got to be a team effort. I mean, there's so many people who have got really, really, really high capabilities. They just haven't realised it yet. It's there. The staff is here, but I look forward to trying to bring it all together.
Of course, it is a slight change in job role. Of course, Michael Flynn was manager. You're now head coach. So how much emphasis will go into the coaching side of it from your side of it?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm there for. Listen, Jamie is Jamie's the main man. Jamie's the boss. Jamie's my boss. Clem's his boss, and hopefully I can be the one to align all that. Listen, I think the way football's going now, to be a manager of a football club, you've got to be some man. It's to run all that. It's probably impossible, to be fair. The way football's run at the minute, to actually try and do all that stuff yourself. So I think the coach should do the coaching and improve the players.
Of course, today was your first day of training. So what was the reaction like from players, and how did it go today?
Yeah, fine. Listen, I'm not going to say it was an unbelievable session, this, blah, blah, blah. Listen, it was a Monday. The players don't do an awful lot on a Monday. Boys did a little bit of a top up. The ones who didn't play, you got Rush and that coming back. Fraser, two fantastic players. Really excited to work with them again. They did a bit. Then Liam took some of that, so I could obviously speak with the other lads who'd been playing, get some info where they think we're going right, where we're going wrong, how we can improve it, how they can, and how I feel they can improve their performances.
How important is that relationship as you look to rebuild confidence and rebuild players' performances going forward as well?
Yeah, listen, man management is that's probably 75% of it. It's man management, because at the end of the day, you can only do so much during the week. You give them the messages, the pictures, but when they go out there, they've got a problem solve as well. Find solutions. Don't look for excuses. That's what I say all the time.
What will the first week of training look like?
Just a lot of pictures, a lot of how we're trying to play, have an identity. We need to get an identity back. I think at the minute we're in between playing and going longer. We're not intense. There's just no identity to us.
How important is that, trying to find an identity going forwards?
Yeah, 100%. Listen, it's not going to take a week. It won't take 2 weeks. We might be 4 weeks down the line and we're starting to see it, but we'll get there 100%.
With that in mind, as mentioned, fans would have seen glimpses before, but what are the key attributes to a Gavin Gunning team?
Hard work, intensity, front foot football, heavy metal, as Jurgen Klopp says.
How important is that for Swindon fans as they look to get behind a team that they can really support going forwards?
Yeah, listen, get behind us. Listen, I know it's been tough. It's been a tough watch the last how many months. Like we've been poor, I know. The weekend was a little bit better. I'm going to be honest. It was a little bit better. It still wasn't where we want to be at, but it was a little bit better. But we're not creating enough chances, and we're leaking too many. So that's a recipe for disaster at the minute. So we've got to change that. Get the players to be able to where they can see it on the pitch. So you've got to give them if it's a break in play or a quick transition, put them in the places, and then it's up to them what they react to the situation.
suppose that comes back down to the identity, as you mentioned earlier, and really having something the players can understand and get to grips with.
100%, and I think myself being a player like before, it's about simplifying that message. How easy can you make it for them to understand? Because anybody can go on and say, yeah, we're going to open the game up, we're going to do this and that. It's simple to do that, but it's how clear you can be with your message and simplifying it.
During your time in charge, what's your overall goal going to be?
This season is obviously win as many games as I can, then hopefully get us in the playoffs, and we go from there. I mean, this club obviously, for its size and stature, shouldn't be in League Two, but listen, there's so many clubs that can say that, so you can only say that for so long before you get tired of it. So this club, you got to get promoted, and that'll be the be all and end all.
Just finally, as you mentioned, we've got back-to-back home games coming up. What's your final message to Swindon fans as we look for a positive start to your reign, also second half of the season overall?
Yeah, just come support the lads, stick with us. I know you've probably been hearing that before, but come Saturday and it's up to us to show you what we're gonna improve on and what style we're gonna have and how we're gonna win games going forward. And
how sort of optimistic are you that can be delivered from Saturday going forwards?
100%. As I said, I'm not wasting my time. There's no point in doing this job if I'm not 100% certain and clear on my message. Because the players see through that. If you're not clear on what your message and you don't believe in it, if I don't believe we're going to win on Saturday, the players see through that straight away, and it's just everyone's wasting their time. So I think clear messages through the week, filter in, positivity, and we'll win the game on Saturday, hopefully.